Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the January 24th edition of Carolina Week, we continue our profile of North Carolina's representatives with Senator Richard Burr.
You might not be as safe as you think you are when walking around UNC campus. I'm Will Hallman, and I'll show you why.
It's a big weekend for Tar Heel basketball. We'll preview Carolina's big games and who to watch out for.
Laura Pagano will have your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that and a special way to make international students feel more at home. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Kate Schoen.
And I'm Adam Rue. Thanks for joining us.
The day after his State of the Union address, President Bush is hoping to gain support for his policies from both sides of the aisle. UNC students eagerly awaited the president's speech Tuesday night as they discussed what he'd talk about in the annual address. Chairman of UNC College Republicans Tyson Grinstead says domestic issues carry more weight than international relations, but he still wants to know more about the president's stance on the war.
The troop increase in Iraq, I consider myself a supporter of the president, but I'd like to hear more details about that.
In addition to the war, the other top issues of the address included the state of the economy, health care, the war on terror, immigration reform, education, and alternative energy sources, including ways to reduce our dependence on oil.
While our local U.S. House representatives are busy with the new majority's agenda, Carla Babb is in the studio to tell us about her Washington, D.C. meeting with Republican Senator Richard Burr. Carla?
The House isn't the only branch of Congress hard at work, and the majority party isn't the only one with big plans for this term. Just want to know what your plans are for this term.
Education will probably be the number one issue that I focus on this year. Primarily the expansion of higher education opportunities, the affordability issue, but also the K through 12 dropout problem that we have in this country and very predominant in North Carolina.
Burr says his other top priority will be health care provisions for North Carolinians. He wants to make health care affordable and accessible for people, whether they live under a harvest sun or big city lights. Senator Burr also says he wants to center medical practices on overall health.
It's important in North Carolina because health care is the largest employer in our state. It has surpassed agriculture and others. We've got to focus our health care system back on prevention and wellness and less on the treatment of disease.
When it comes to the minimum wage, Burr is still deliberating. He feels he must consider each state's input. 29 states, including North Carolina, had increased the minimum wage above the federal requirement of $5.15.
If every state has a minimum wage, why do we need a federal minimum wage? It's a legitimate question, and I'm not sure that I'm smart enough to have the answer to it. I think it's important, though, that we look at it and ask, can we use the increase in minimum wage to achieve other benefits that the American people need? I plan to offer an amendment that will provide the employer the option of providing the extra wages in health care benefits versus wages.
Burr says his ability to compromise comes from working in the Senate. He says the Senate rules
allow one senator to stop the entire process. So the Senate's designed to have ultimate consensus among all the members, regardless of their party affiliation.
Well, you sound like a very bipartisan person. Do you think that the 110th Congress is going to be bipartisan, or do you think it's going to be harder to get things passed?
I think that the Senate has a tendency of nonpartisanship on most issues. This is a presidential election cycle. I think 14% of the Senate is currently announced as running for the president. That makes it somewhat more difficult. But I happen to be one of those senators that wakes up in the morning and looks in the mirror and does not see the future president of the United States. So I can go through the 110th Congress focused on my legislative agenda, the legislative agenda that I think is important in North Carolina.
The senator is in the minority for the first time in his life.
So Carla, what does Senator Burr think Republicans need to do to regain majority status?
Adam, he says the party wasn't focused on what needed to be done. He says Republicans have to display leadership that the American people want and trust.
Carla Babb reporting live. Thanks, Carla.
Those national politicians might have some future competition. It's a big week for prospective student politicians. While most of you settle back into your daily routines and get your schedule set, student candidates are gearing up for UNC's 2007 campus elections. Board of Elections Chair Jim Brewer says he wants to see a fair election and lots of student participation.
Overall, whether it's a mistake or if it's blatant, that the integrity of the elections is not violated. I think a lot of issues this year have really shown their face that are a part of student government, and that students really honestly do have a say in stuff like the ticket distribution.
Tuesday was the last day to hand in candidate petitions.
The Tar Heel faithful have another way to stay connected to the university: their own ashes. UNC Memorial Grove now holds the cremated remains of 16 people. At least 200 others want the same honor. But your eternal resting place has a price: $350. That includes spreading your ashes in the grove and having your name on the wall of remembrance. University officials say the grove will be the resting place of many Tar Heels because the old Chapel Hill Cemetery is already full.
A new kind of magnet high school is changing the way some families think about college. Here on the medical campus of Wake Tech, 90 high school freshmen begin their college education. The Wake Early College of Health and Sciences offers a special 5-year program. It combines high school curriculum with college courses that qualify graduates for an associate's degree. Principal Jim Palermo has shepherded the program through its first semester. He says this unorthodox education might be the golden chance for some students to have a brighter future.
Because it is offering an associate degree or 2 years of college credit free of charge, we're hoping that this would give some students a leg up who might not have thought about college or been able to afford it.
It's taken some time for these 9th graders to adjust to taking classes with college students, but they all seem determined to make the most of the opportunity.
Some people go to college, but others join the military. The military presence in Fayetteville, though, isn't the only thing that makes this town unique. Jennifer Carpenter has the story.
When people get off the train in Fayetteville, they come to find Fort Bragg and a long-standing military town. What they don't expect to find, however, is a thriving adult entertainment industry. Like it or not, the strip clubs and gentlemen's bars here in Fayetteville are what keeps the economy strong.
It's primarily a military town. Fayetteville has a totally diverse economy. I mean, it covers all bases. Military, a lot of private businesses and stuff like that.
Fayetteville's adult entertainment industry relies on soldiers' salary to keep it afloat.
It's built up a lot around here. I think if the military base was not here, Fayetteville would be nowhere near as big as it is.
Miss Holly, the owner of Uptown Undies, notices a surge in customers with the soldier payday. She asked us not to show her face.
Open all the time, but we cater more towards dancers, like payday. They'll come in and buy a bunch of new stuff. Right now, most of the troops are gone, and they're like hurting. They get no business.
Strip clubs aren't the only ones that are suffering. Lingerie stores, pawn shops, and tattoo parlors are also enduring Fayetteville's economic slump. Businesses blame the war in Iraq for their losses.
We mostly notice when they're away. Whenever they leave town, it seems that things generally kind of slow down a little bit and business slows down and everything like that.
Here in Fayetteville, there are more strip clubs per square mile than any other place in the Southeast. There is no denying that the soldiers play a key impact on what kinds of private businesses survive here.
That was Jennifer Carpenter reporting from Fayetteville. There are typically about 30,000 soldiers stationed at Fort Bragg. We know backpacks can hurt your back, but what about shoulder bags? When we return, we'll take a look at the stress caused by women's shoulder bags.
And we'll tell you a new way to help your pudgy pooch knock off those extra pounds.
Hey, I was checking you out, and I was thinking, how about you come out to my car and we can have a couple beers, fool around a little bit. You know, I could give you herpes.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. MADD, face the brutal truth about underage drinking.
Hey, Zachary. You looking good?
The odds of a child becoming a professional athlete are 1 in 16,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 166. The odds say it's time to listen. To learn the signs of autism, visit autismspeaks.org.
Thousands of students walk across campus every day. You might be one of them. And Will Hallman says you could be in more danger than you realize. Will joins us now from South Road. Will, how safe are students as they walk to class?
Well, Adam, not that safe. Students make unsafe decisions and pass through unsafe areas every day when they walk to class.
Students walk in the street to get around the construction on Raleigh Road. Cars here drive close to the barriers. Down the street, dozens of students jaywalk between the Student Union and North Campus dorms. I asked them if they were concerned about their safety.
Not at all. I'm more worried about being late for stuff.
No, not usually. It takes so long to wait at the traffic light rather than just walking the street.
Department of Public Safety spokesman Randy Young says that the crossing guards on South Road help to reduce the risk of accidents.
It lets folks know, it makes them more aware of when and where to cross. It makes motorists aware of where pedestrian traffic is in high volume.
But the crossing guards aren't always there. I saw this scene recently. Watch the SUV creep into the crowd. Young gave an easy way to deal with such issues. Tell the Department of Public Safety.
We'd love to hear from these people, to help them be our eyes and ears. That helps us out there in enhancing the campus level of pedestrian safety.
Accidents at areas such as this South Road crosswalk could be avoided if students and drivers followed a few simple rules.
Cross in marked crosswalks with the crosswalk signal. Vehicles have the right-of-way except in crosswalks and intersections. Report a safety issue by calling the Department of Public Safety at 919-843-PEDS.
Young also says that if your jaywalking causes a hazard to yourself or others, you might get a ticket. On South Road, I'm Will Hallman, Carolina Week.
So, Will, if you get caught jaywalking, how much money will you have to shell out?
A ticket will cost you $135, including court costs.
That's a hefty price to pay. Will Hallman reporting from South Road. Thanks, Will.
Pedestrians will also have to be careful as they walk to the newest place for visitors to stay in Chapel Hill because it's located in the heart of downtown. The Franklin Hotel opened on New Year's Eve. It houses 67 rooms, including 7 luxury suites. The rooms feature high-definition televisions, marble bathrooms, and balcony patios. Some balconies offer a great view of Franklin Street and downtown Chapel Hill. There's also a fitness center, bar, and various sitting areas throughout the hotel. General Manager Michael Donaldson says the hotel's location is a strong drawing point.
We are the only hotel downtown on Franklin Street in Chapel Hill, and our guests are certainly coming here because of that.
The hotel is already booked solid for May graduation.
Tired of not using all your meals by the end of the semester? Carolina Dining Services might have the right meal plan for you. Dining Services introduced a new commuter meal plan for graduate students and undergrads living off campus. The plans come with either 35 or 45 meals and include some money on Dining Flex. Sophomore TJ Hughes feels the plan would work for him too, but he's not eligible because he lives on campus.
But I think a lower meal plan like the commuter meal plan would be much more appropriate from my schedule now. So I'd really appreciate it, if they could offer that to undergrads as well.
The smallest meal plan undergraduates living on campus can have now is 7 meals per week. That's more than 80 meals in a semester, and some students just can't get to the dining hall that often. More than 600 Carolina students' computers will crash this year alone. But if you want to avoid the line at ITS, there's a new backup program offered to students called Iron Mountain. The software automatically sends a copy of your files to an outside server. It saves everything from your background to your music files. ITS Administrator Priscilla Alden says it's good for students who don't remember to back up their work manually.
A lot of times students have personal files like pictures, things like that they want backed up. If the student loses their data, and we're then helping them try to recover it. Really about all we have time to do, and all we can do is their schoolwork data.
The Iron Mountain program costs $120 per year. For more information, visit our website, carolinaweek.org.
Walking across campus, you might notice that some women use shoulder bags instead of backpacks when toting their books to class. Although large bags like these seem more fashionable than book bags, they might be more damaging to a woman's shoulders and back. When hauling books to class, women often carry an unbalanced load of between 7 and 10 pounds. Still, freshman Lisa Chen says she prefers a shoulder bag because it limits what she carries.
You don't need a big, bulky backpack, which is nice. Unless I'm carrying my laptop, then I'll switch over to the backpack.
But a big, bulky shoulder bag might cause imbalance and bad posture. So therapists urge those toters to equally distribute the weight by carrying, you guessed it, a backpack. A new diet pill will hit the market this spring, but it's not for you, it's for your dog. Slentrol is a prescription diet medication designed to treat the more than 20% of overweight dogs in this country. The goal is to reduce Fido's appetite and fat absorption. But pills cannot replace exercise, so veterinarians recommend physical activity like playing catch to improve the health of your pet. Dogs that don't get a balanced diet and regular exercise are at risk for a number of conditions such as diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, and respiratory conditions.
And we're joined now by weathercaster Laura Pagano. Hi, Laura.
Hi. Hi, Laura. So it seems like that winter weather really came quickly and then left quickly, and it's been warming up. What do we have in store for the future?
I know, temperatures keep on fluctuating dramatically, and currently it's cold outside, and it's going to keep getting colder later through the week. But that's not enough to cool down the heated debate between some students and the pit preacher. Your forecast next.
I helped turn my child's public school into one with extended hours, 6 days a week year-round, filled with loads of academic, cultural, and recreational activities. One with medical and dental services right there. A school where students are excited about learning. There's just one problem. My child doesn't ever want to come home. Turn your school into a community school for excellence. Find out how. Call 1-877-LOVE-TO-LEARN.
Tick, 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 tick. Massive heat waves. Heat waves. Severe droughts. Tick, 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 tick. Devastating hurricanes. Tick, 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 tick.
Our future is up to you.
Tick.
Go to fightglobalwarming.com while there's still time.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weather forecaster Laura Pagano. Let's take a quick look at the headlines, and we can see it's bright and sunny today, and it has been for the last 2 days at least, and we're drying up some of those puddles from the previous storm we had last weekend. Cooler for the rest of the week, and then when we get into the weekend, we're seeing much warmer conditions, much above the average anyway. So let's take a look at the satellite, and we'll see that there's plenty of sun in the middle section of the country. We have a lot of showers towards the south, especially in Texas. They're seeing a bunch of rain that's just going to keep moving off to the east. And we're seeing that the mid-Atlantic states are looking very clear as well. We do have a few snow showers toward the north. But looking closer toward our region, we're seeing that Greensboro, Durham, and Raleigh are clear right now. We're just having some high clouds, and those should be staying relatively to the south, so we shouldn't see any showers in the vicinity for the next 2 or 3 days at least. So let's zoom out and let's look at the surface map, and we'll see that the center of the country is very clear. We're seeing a lot of sunny conditions. We do have some showers toward the north. It's not showing up on the surface, but we are seeing that we still have this precipitation toward the south that's just going to be sticking around. So for Thursday, we're going to see that it's going to get very clear for the next couple of days, so if you have any plans to head outdoors, it's going to be perfect time to do it, especially even into Friday. It's going to be looking clear, and we do see that cold front headed our way, but that shouldn't be affecting us until later on next week. So we're looking great right now, and if we take a look at the averages for this time of year, we're seeing rainfall should be around 4.5 inches, and the high is around 49 and lows around 30. So currently we are seeing that we are right at normal for January. And taking a look at the 4-day forecast, we'll see Thursday, Friday, even into Saturday and Sunday, we're seeing clear skies and 48 degrees for tomorrow, Thursday, and we're seeing that the temperatures are going to be slightly decreasing for Friday, but then Saturday and Sunday we're going to be heating things up. If we take a look at the mountains, we're going to see that, well, how about the beach anyways? We'll see that Saturday and Sunday is going to be pretty clear and temperatures hovering around 60, and for the mountains, we're going to be seeing that, again, really clear conditions for any of you that want to head out towards the beach or mountains or just stick around Raleigh. It is going to be a beautiful weekend. I have nothing to say but good news about that.
Great, yeah, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend. I pulled out my big down coat last week, and now I think I need to put it back away.
You definitely do.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks.
Well, we're joined now by sportscaster Brandon Curry. And Brandon, you know, it's one thing to sit in the Dean Dome and watch a game, but it's an entirely different thing to be on the floor.
Adam, you're completely right. I've been on the court a few times as a cameraman for both Carolina Week and some other people, and the pressure is on you to perform. I can't even imagine what it's like for an athlete. Coming up in sports, dunking in front of a sold-out Dean Dome crowd is a dream for any Tar Heel fan. We'll show you the competition for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Why do I call it a funny bone? Why can't penguins fly? Like a sea safety. Can we go to the moon on vacation?
If you think it's tough answering these questions, imagine the ones you'll get if your child is diagnosed with cancer. CureSearch.org can help. It's run by doctors and scientists whose research has led to an overall cure rate of 78%. You're not as alone as you feel.
Un día en el bosque las ratas jugaban. Fósforos que no es muy bueno.
Escucha Smokey antes de tratar.
Solo tú. No juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego. Fuego. No hay nada para un pobre conejo asustado. A un pobre ratón sin casa en que vivir. Si un hermoso bosque es lo que deseas, no juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego.
Solo tú puedes prevenir los fuegos en áreas naturales.
¡Fuego!
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Brandon Curry, and the countdown has begun. Carolina plays Duke in exactly 2 weeks, 3 minutes and 37 minutes. 36 minutes, but let's not look past the 4 games in between. First up, it's Carolina and Wake Forest, who are 2 teams headed in different directions. Carolina, winner of 2 straight ACC games, will travel to Wake Forest tonight, which has lost 4 ACC matches in a row. Poor defense got the Heels behind early last year in Winston-Salem, but solid D has been the hallmark of this year's team. In last week's game, they held Georgia Tech to just 34% shooting. Carolina is also hoping to improve on its 14-turnover performance last year. The key to a Carolina win will be both Tyler Hansbrough, who had 17 points last time against Wake, and Winston-Salem native Rayshon Terry, who had a monster game with 24 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 steals. Hansbrough and Terry combined for 40 of the Heels' 77 points in their win last week. Saturday is a day the women's team has had marked on their calendar for months. A rematch against the defending national champion, the Maryland Terrapins, who knocked out the Heels in the Final Four in Boston. Unfortunately for Carolina, the Terps return all 5 of their starters from last year's team. Superstar Ivory Latta was injured in the first half of last year's game and never found her rhythm after that. You can see her going down hard right there. Orlando Larkins was explosive, netting 28 points and pulling down 10 rebounds. Carolina needs both Latta and Larkins to bring their A games in order to top the Terps. Game time is 7 p.m. Saturday on ESPN2. The women's team isn't the only undefeated basketball team on campus. The JV men's team is still perfect and took on Guilford College Tuesday night. Patrick Moody swings around the perimeter and goes up for the 3, and it's good. Here's Terrence Petrie, can't get through the quadruple team, makes a quick pass, easy layup for Charles McDonald. And the Heels now on a fast break. Patrick Moody in the front, gets fouled, but goes on to make his free throw. The Heels hold off Guilford College for the win. When an athlete makes a big play, we've all been guilty of saying, I could do that, but what if you actually had the chance? Reporter Deshaun Brown had the opportunity to watch normal UNC students like you and me battle for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Tyler Hansbrough, Rayshawn Terry. They make it seem so easy. But ask these guys. Dunking is not as easy as it looks.
It's hard, man.
Hard? Yes. Impossible? Not quite.
I give up.
Participants in the CAA dunk contest put their skills to the test for a chance to do what Tyler and Rayshawn do all the time, dunk on the Smith Center floor. No pressure.
And the winner is number 5.
Time to collect your prize.
I get real nervous out there. It's a lot of people, but I guess everything just comes a blur. So I just go out there and have fun.
But it looks like Tyler has this one down. In Chapel Hill, I'm Deshaun Brown, Carolina Week Sports.
And it came out today. The Butch Davis era, will begin September 1st against James Madison University here at home.
Well, until then, I'm just hoping that my lottery tickets come through and I can go to some of those basketball games coming up.
You and me both.
Exactly right. Brandon Curry, thanks.
Thanks.
Carolina hosts hundreds of international students every year.
But who helps those students adjust to life and culture in the U.S.? Coming up, a program that creates global friends.
Excuse me. I've been getting mixed messages about women and violence. I need a little clarification.
Uncle Bill, how am I supposed to grow up to respect women when I have such lousy role models?
Boys are never going to approach you.
Can you help me reshape my attitudes towards women?
You need to teach them that violence against women is wrong.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Well, the adjustment to college life is hard for any student, but even more so when you aren't from this country.
Reporter Christy Koryakin shows us one program that's making the transition a little easier.
When Bhaskar Karmacharya came from Nepal to study at UNC, it was his first time in the United States.
When I first came here, I was very much surprised.
Certain aspects of American culture were hard for him to get used to.
In Nepal, I'm not used to seeing so many obese people.
But Bhaskar had some help adjusting to these differences. The International Friendship Program paired him up with a local Chapel Hill family.
Well, international program is meant to really make people feel welcome.
Dilip Barman helps Bhaskar with any cultural questions he might have.
He is a kind of a teacher. He knows about the American culture and he knows about my culture. So whatever question I have.
The program has been pairing up international students with families for over 20 years. The main idea is to help students adjust culturally, but they also do fun things like visit the Ackland Art Museum.
It's a great way to get to know people and to maybe feel like you can help other people getting acclimated to, being in a new country.
The program not only helps the international students,
you feel like you have somebody to rely on. You're not all alone by yourself, so it's kind of a good feeling.
but the local families also get a little something in return.
But I've had great stories with all the students I've had the privilege of being with and learned a lot about Vietnam, about Hungary, and about life in many different places in the world.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Christy Koryakin, Carolina Week.
Well, Kate, I can certainly imagine that going to a faraway country could be a life-changing experience for you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a scary thing to do, but something that you'll never forget and something that's really life-altering.
Absolutely.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks so much for watching. Good night.